Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multimillionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME, the podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. Exciting announcement for all of my listeners. I've officially opened my exclusive group, the ProjectME Passive Income Posse, to the public. This group is by application only, so we can keep the group high vibe and spend our time, energy, and expertise only helping those of you who truly want massive success and impact. You get live weekly trainings from me, special guest coaches, and direct access to me and my business partner for all of your questions. To learn more and apply, go to projectmewithtiffany.com, click on Work With Me, and select ProjectME Posse. And of course, any questions, feel free to DM me at ProjectME with Tiffany. Welcome to ProjectME with Tiffany Carter, the podcast and posse. I'm your host, Tiffany, and today I'm going to teach you how to tap into something that you already have within you. It's just buried beneath a ton of crap. And a ton of crap, I mean all these negative beliefs, false beliefs, insecurities, all this stuff we've picked up along the way as being adults. And we've also obviously picked it up from our childhoods too. And what's lying beneath this is the gold. And it's the gold whether you're an employee or an entrepreneur. As an employee, this is what's going to make you shine in the workplace, get you those promotions you want, get you the raises that you want. As an entrepreneur, this is what is going to create that polarizing magnetic energy where people are naturally drawn to you. You don't have to work so hard, push so hard, promote so hard to fill your programs, to fill your network marketing team, to fill your calendar with ideal clients. They're going to be magnetized by you when you tap into this. So therefore, you're going to be able to have so much more freedom and even more confidence with building your business, your brand, your empire, because you have this grounded, incredible source that is an unlimited source of gold that's already within you. So the title of this episode is How to Create Command Presence and Have People See You as a Respected Expert in Your Industry. So I learned the term command presence by one of my dear longtime friends. He's really more like family, Steve. I'm not going to give his last name because he's incredibly private. But he is a former long-time, well-known sex crime detective. So I met him in my work that I do with various nonprofits with sex trafficking, sex crimes, people who are victims of sexual assault, etc. He's one of the people who taught other detectives and police officers how to have better, so to speak, bedside manner when they're coming on a scene of a victim of a sex crime or having to go into the hospital and be there or be near that victim and try to get him or her to get a rape kit, because that's one of the big problems is a lot of people won't do the rape kit because obviously they were already victimized, brutalized, and they're traumatized. And so, but we need the rape kits in order to hopefully catch, right, the perpetrator. So that bedside manner is really important. And I learned from him so many things. But one of the things I learned from him is the term command presence. And this is something that he taught me over many years. He's a behavioral analyst. He's in the Smithsonian. For his work, he's worked on the Michael Jackson case, for example, Polly Klaas, some of you may remember that, JonBenet Ramsey, you may remember that. So how he got so many people behind bars and so many people to admit to their crimes who normally wouldn't. I mean, he's a master in terms of doing those kinds of interviews. There's other things that go in it. So I'm not trying to oversimplify or minimize his work. But one of the main things is command presence. And it's something that it can be taught, but you have to really get it psychologically. And it took me quite a few years for him to teach it to me. And I'm someone who learns by watching someone else who's doing it, like a show and tell. So the cool thing is I have command presence. So after I teach this to you today, even when you're listening to my podcast, you're watching any of my videos, you're watching my Instagram stories, you're reading any of my posts, you're, part of my ProjectME posse or anything like that, any of my stuff, you'll start seeing and picking up on the command presence in there. But this is especially true for video, or, you're seeing me in person or, speaking on a stage or something like that. And also on podcasts. So if you want people to see you as a trusted expert in your niche, you got to level up that vibe, guys. You've got to level it up. And what gets in the way of this is the self-doubt, the self-judgment, all these crazy thoughts that go on in all of our brains. I mean, no one's exempt from this. Neither am I. I've just learned a lot of techniques and ways to best manage it. So mine's a lot less. But as I've shared many times, I had no self-worth before. So having no self-worth, you have lots of self-doubt, lots of insecurities, lots of all those things. So if I can do it, I for sure know there's lots of hope for you. But what happens is, whether, again, you're an employee or an entrepreneur, there's this like fraud thing that goes on when we have our self-worth has been damaged. We start doubting ourselves. We go into the comparisonitis. It's like, well, there's other people who have more years of experience than me. There's other people with more credentials and degrees. There's other people who have, 500,000 followers and I have 400. So why would someone listen to me? Why would someone hire me when they could hire Tiffany? Why would someone, buy my course when they could buy insert, famous influencer course, right? They're buying from you because of how you make them feel, and that they do have the trust and respect for you that you can get them from point A to point B, from their current pain point to their desired core emotional state. Period. End of story. I'll give an example, and I hope he's listening. My go-to realtor, Jason, he is not on like $1 million listing. He is not, I'm in the top 1%, like my best friend from high school, Melissa Tucci. She's in San Diego. Otherwise, of course, I would use her. But she's, top 1% in the entire freaking country. It might even be the world of Coldwell Banker, right? So and this is year over year over year over year over year, right? He has nowhere near that. There's obviously tons of realtors with all sorts of numbers and years of experience. And I've sold this house for this much, and I have this many millions in sales all over the Los Angeles area. But the reason why I instantly knew that I wanted to use Jason for my properties, both selling, and finding properties for me, is simply because of the no trust factor. I met him doing an open house when I was looking at houses, and I loved his energy, his vibe, his grounded command presence. And a lot of people, when I say command presence, even when Steve first taught it to me, I thought that meant like, I'm a baller, like that baller energy, I can't be touched. I'm invincible. I'm better than you. I've got that swagger. That's what I thought he meant. And that's not what it means. Command presence, it doesn't matter if you're 3 weeks into being a police officer, you're 3 weeks into being an entrepreneur, you're at a new job, you're in a new position, you have 0 followers on Instagram, or you have 500,000. That command presence is already in you. And some people already have it, even though they've not been taught it or aren't aware of it. I had to be taught this and do a lot of other work because of, my abusive childhood and having no self-worth. If you have no self-worth, you cannot have genuine command presence. What you'll have is those people that come across with swagger, the ballers, the people who can appear even narcissistic. They're really loud, look at me, I do this, I do that, that kind of stuff. That's based in false self. That's someone overcompensating for a lack of self-worth. That's not what I'm talking about here. Command presence is grounded confidence. You are confident exactly as you are where you're at today. That doesn't mean you don't have bad days. I mean, shit, you should have seen me last weekend. I was a hot mess. And there was no reason for it. I mean, really, came out of the blue. So it doesn't mean you don't have bad days, but inherently you know that you're good enough just as you are, and that the people you're meant to work with, you are capable and qualified to work with them, to help them. You're capable and qualified of whatever position you have in any company. You're capable and qualified because you're someone who operates in integrity, and you're going to do the best to serve your people, and you have enough knowledge and skill set in order to get them from whatever you're promising to help them with, right? Like my niche, right? I help entrepreneurs, I help business owners get more clients and cash online. That's like one of my main focuses. Obviously, I do a lot more than that. I help you remove your money blocks, scale your business, all that stuff. But I really niche specific, that's what I do. Well, I know I am confident I have the skill set. I know I can do it. I've done it many times. I know that as long as you follow everything I teach you inside my 2-month coaching program, that without a doubt, you will end up with more cash and clients and convert strangers into paying clients online. I'm confident about that. That's that grounded confidence. So back to Jason, the realtor, truly, he guaranteed he's not aware that he has this command presence. Like if he's listening to this, he's going to be like, oh, damn. He'll laugh because he's humble, and humble's very different than insecure. Okay. Humble is just knowing your place and knowing that I'm here human on this planet, and you're no better than or no less than anyone else. That's not using self-deprecating humor against yourself or saying things like, well, I know I'm only this age, or I know like I just started. No, that is not humble. Humble is just being willing and admitting that there is so much more you need to learn. You don't know everything, and you're okay with that and confident with that, and that's okay. And he has that. So he didn't come up like all the other damn realtors and open houses. And I know I have a lot of realtors who follow me because I do a lot of big sales trainings for brokerage firms and brokerage houses and real estate. And I know all y'all know what happens when you go to an open house and it's like Mr. Slickster comes up to you in his like shiny ass suit. And he's like, hey, so are you in the market to buy? And it's like, do you want a cupcake? And let me show you around the house. And he has like even a voice like that. Yeah, that's a turnoff. That's not attractive to me. That's gross. That's that whole like sales feeling sleazy and annoying and yucky. Whereas Jason, he was very polite. He didn't just sit there, like meaning I'm going to pretend like I don't give a fuck and I don't need this business. That's also not command presence. That's fucking arrogance, and that's entitlement. And that is equally as gross to me as someone who's pushy, salesy, sleazy, manipulative, and that kind of thing. You don't want to be that either. That's not rooted in grounded confidence when you act like that. So he gets up. He makes eye contact. His voice isn't loud. He speaks in a normal person voice. He talks to me as though I'm a guest in his home, even though it's an open house he's representing. And he's probably at this point, because of course, I didn't go see that shit in the morning because I'm not a morning person. So at this point in the afternoon, and this was a pretty popular listing, he probably had already seen 50 people. And, half of those people are just the neighbors being nosy as fuck. And you all do that. And I've done it too. You're like, oh, I wonder what Betty Sue's house looks like on the inside. Because her yard, she doesn't do shit with that. So he gets up, and I purposely, I don't dress up when I go to make big purchases. I dress as you guys see me dress all the time on video, which is like not that impressive. I mean, I don't wear pajamas. Like, I step it up, but it's usually like, streetwear. It could be a whole Lululemon vibe. I don't know. But I mean, I'm certainly not dressed up. I dress as myself, and it's really interesting what happens as a woman, especially when you're dressed like that. I can really cut out all the people that I absolutely wouldn't buy from. I can tell you that. So he came over, treated me as though I was, as though I could have been someone wearing a head to toe Dolce & Gabbana outfit with, a Chanel bag. It didn't, I got respected. He looked at me in the eye. He introduced himself, and not in a weird way, like in a normal way, like speaking like a normal person. And he asked me, would you like me to show you around the house? What do you prefer? Or would you rather go around on your own and then we can catch up later? Well, that was nice, right? That made me feel like I wasn't, someone wasn't pushing themselves on me. But what really made me hire him is that grounded confidence, that command presence. He wasn't trying too hard, but he was still trying. He was putting in great effort, but not from the energy of fear and I have to have it and I need this business and I need to force myself on this person and I need to do whatever it takes to get their business. He knew that the right people who are supposed to work with him and buy a house from him or hire him as a realtor, he just knew that when it connects. And by forcing himself or being pushy or manipulative or anything like that, or using tactics or pretending like he doesn't need your business, because there's a lot of fucking people who do that. That's a super turnoff to me. He was just himself. And he was comfortable and grounded being himself, and that was just enough. And therefore, I hired him. And he's exactly himself. He is no different and corresponds with me exactly the same, whether he is searching for a property for me, listing a property for me, or there is no money in it for him right now. He genuinely checks in. He follows me on Instagram. He likes my stuff. He shows support. Just the same. So I wanted to give you that as an example so you guys could learn what I'm referring to, and also take out that lie you tell yourself of, I don't have enough experience. Why would someone hire me when they can hire this person? Look who I just hired. And I'm telling you, I think when I hired him, I think he'd only been a realtor for 6 months or something. It wasn't very long. And I didn't even ask him how many houses he sold. And some people could think that sounds crazy. I didn't give a fuck. I really didn't. I didn't care. I could tell he knew what he was talking about in conversation. So there was that command presence as well. And he built that authority. He was credible. He knew what he was talking about. He knew the area. He understood my needs. He understood that I'm a crazy ass Virgo. And so that was enough for me. So when you start telling yourself that lie, why would they buy from me? They can buy from this person. It's that je ne sais quoi kind of thing, that I don't know what in French for all my French Canadians. What's up? I do speak some French. My middle name is Leve, which is French for she-wolf. Don't ask me why. No idea. So I want you to remind yourself of that. What's that it factor? It's the command presence. And it is within all of you, but it's buried beneath a lot of these things that we all tell ourselves, that we shame ourselves for, that we start convincing ourselves of. It's beneath all that. And I want you to start learning how to access it. If I was able to access it, believe me, you can. And so one way to access your command presence is I want you to start listing out so you can see it visibly in front of you in paper, like in paper form. I want you to list out all the things that you bring to the table, whether you're an employee, an entrepreneur, a network marketer, whatever, service-based provider, small business owner, whatever. What is it you bring to the table for your ideal client? And I don't mean just, I can, help them lose 5 pounds in 2 months or whatever. I don't just mean that. I mean, you can put that down too. What I mean is, what do you uniquely bring to the table? I can tell you something. It's not far different from what you bring to the table to your closest relationships in your life. What I bring to the table consistently to my closest relationships in my life is identical to what I bring to the table with my ideal client. My number one core value for myself and my business is integrity. What I say is what I mean. What I mean is what I say. My actions and words match. You always know where you stand with me. There's no guessing. I will tell you the truth, even if it means you're going to be mad at me or it's going to hurt your feelings. I believe truth without compassion is cruelty. So I say it, of course, out of love and in a loving way. But I'm willing to say to you, whether you're a friend of mine or you're a client of mine, I'm willing to say something to you if it's going to absolutely better your life and better our relationship, better your bank account, better your business, better your relationships. I'm willing to say what most people won't because they don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to offend you. They don't want to hurt you. They don't want to get you angry. Well, I give a shit enough and care enough to say what needs to be said. This is me in my personal life. This is me with my client relationships. These are even with my other business, right? You guys know I have a very successful 7-figure business. I'm doing digital marketing for doctors, medical products, pharmaceutical companies, and health supplements. Some of these clients are big whale clients where I make $25,000 a month, $50,000 a month from these people. And I will still say the truth. And this is why my client retention is years and years and years with these clients. And I have such great referrals. And I literally do no marketing. None anymore for that business, because I don't just tell them what they want to hear, which is what most people do. I tell them what they need to hear, and I do it in a professional way, in a kind way, in a caring way, but I tell them what they need to hear, and it's like, oh my God, thank God. But I'm only able to do that because of the command presence. So back to this exercise, I want you to write down, what do you bring to the table? And if it's easier for you, write down, what do you bring to the table in your personal relationships? Because really it's going to be the same. Because last time I checked, I would like to think you're the same person in your personal relationships as you are in your work relationships. I don't mean like you go on FaceTime and you ask your best friend if your bra fits right, and you're going to do that with a client, although I wouldn't put it past myself, just saying. But I'm not saying you would do that, but you get what I mean, right? You inherently are the same person. So what else? For me, I will always show up. No one ever has to worry about if Tiffany's going to pull her weight, if I'm going to take care of my side of the street and do my part. I will always show up at 100%. If there's some reason I can't show up for that day, whether it's physically, mentally, a deadline or whatever, I will also tell you, and I will give you advance notice, or I'll tell you and I'll make up for it. And I'm very clear about it. But I always do my part. No one ever has to worry if they ask me for a favor and I say yes, if I'm going to follow through or do my part. I always fucking follow through. That's another thing I bring to the table. So I just wanted to give you some examples. Some of you are fabulous listeners. You are able to hold such great space for people and listen. And that is something who, my friend Steve, Detective Steve, that's one of his gifts and one of his many talents of how he got people to admit guilt and confess to crimes, because of his incredible ability to listen while holding that command presence. So he doesn't just kind of listen and lie back. It's very clear that he's an active listener. Maybe that's one of yours. So I want you to write those things down, because there's a lot of people who have knowledge. There's always going to be someone who's smarter than you, has more experience than you, money than you, time doing it than you, credentials than you, degrees than you, higher, more prestigious degrees, Ivy League degrees. That doesn't matter nearly as much as what is it that you bring to the table. And you have to remind yourself of that. Are you an honest, good person? And you know that you will do everything in your power to help your clients get from A to B, and not in a way that's like people pleasing or damaging yourself, but you'll do everything within your boundaries, within your promises, within your power to get them results. That's what you bring to the table. List those things out and you'll see it on paper and go, oh my God, you know what? I do offer a lot. Holy shit. What I'm charging people, or whatever my salary is or whatever, what I'm charging people, this is an actual freaking deal considering what they get. Because you have to remember, there's a lot of people out there that don't do those things. So don't start telling yourself the lie of, well, God, doesn't everyone follow through? Isn't everyone honest? Isn't everyone caring? Won't everyone do their part? Hells to the no. No. A lot of people are just in things for money. A lot of people, they kind of care, but it's a surface care. So no, that's not true. But I want you to see that on paper and I want you to take it in and go, you know what? This is really special and unique to me. And what's really more important to somebody? What is really more important? How many fucking followers you have? How many credentials you have? If you have a 6-pack or not? How old you are? How young you are? Is that really that important or matter to your ideal client to get them from point A to point B? I'm telling you, it is not. It's the results. It's the work you're willing to put in. My longtime, she's a broker, but my longtime real estate broker friend from high school, Melissa Tucci, her tagline in her business for many, many years is, I run the extra mile for you. She's also someone who has literally ran 8 miles a day, 7 days a week. I mean, I'm talking years and years now. Quite impressive. So she really literally does run the extra mile for you. But that's her tagline, but it's also true. And it was her tagline from day one when she had 0 fucking clients. She didn't have like some family friend who was rich to hook her up with rich friends. She, you can go listen to the podcast episode. She did 100 cold calls a day to build her business. And now she's been top 1%, like I said, in Coldwell Banker, at least for sure in the nation. It might be the world for many, many years, year after year after year after year. So she started at truly at 0 from scratch with no hookup or anything like that. And her command presence came from that tagline that she knew was true for her. And it is true. She will run the extra mile for you. You need help moving? That girl went and helped your ass pack boxes. If that's what it took to help you move and make that real estate transaction smoother, easier, and less stressful for you. She would take you. You really needed to see 80 houses because you were nervous and you were buying your first house. She didn't have an attitude about it, wasn't passive aggressive. She happily drove you around and spent all of her time and gas money, right? So she knew that was true for her. And therefore she had that grounded command presence. And therefore she put in the work and the clients came. So I want you to really write those things down. Part of it could be how you parent, not just in your friendships or your personal relationships, but take that look. But here's the thing. You have to then have somewhere to showcase and show people your command presence. It's not enough for you to do this exercise and work on this stuff for yourself. Obviously, that's very important. But people have to see that you have it. You don't need to tell people. You've never heard me use this term before. You don't need to tell people you have it. Telling people stuff, yes, you do need to tell people a certain amount of things, but really showing them is more important. And as I always say, you can't fake energy. So you can't fake command presence. And if you try, it's not going to work. Trust me. I tried to fake command presence for years because I had no self-worth and I saw how effective it was in Steve. So I would try to fake it. And he'd call me on it when I would be like, I got passed up for a promotion again, or this, when I was in pharma sales, this doctor won't let me into their office and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I'm doing the command presence. He's like, no, you're not. He's like, you're faking it. And he's like, and that doesn't work. And someone might not cognitively go, oh, she's faking it. It just doesn't connect. It repels versus attracting people. So you need to showcase your true command presence. How you do this, when you're think about what is the most confident version of you do. Confident, secure, and grounded version of you. And even if you are in like the bottom of the barrel of self-worth where I was, we all have days where we feel better than others. So think of yourself on like your best day. You wake up feeling skinny. It's a good hair day. You have more energy. Something really positive happened in your life. Okay. And you're in a good mood. On your best day, how do you come across? You stand up straighter. Your voice is more clear and confident. You might even speak up a little louder. I don't mean be loud, but you're not like, hi, hey, it's Tiffany. I'm here. Hi, guys. You're more like, hey, what's up, guys? I hope you're having a great day. You're that person. You shine. You speak with more conviction, more energy, more belief, more emotion, more power. So think of yourself on how you are. Start studying yourself on how you are on those good days and notice how you come across. That is what I want you to focus on for command presence. It doesn't mean you have to be loud. There are many people of command presence who are very quiet. So you don't have to be loud. It's your version of command presence. I can tell you right now on days where I'm having a bad day and I'm in my head and I'm spinning my wheels and I'm going down a whole fucking train that ends in shame town. I'll tell you that. When I'm down in that path, I do not have command presence. And if I have a video to record, a podcast to record, I need to show up for clients. I need to show up for you guys. I have to do exercises for myself to get myself back into my command presence and remind myself who I am and what I stand for and how I serve and why I'm worthy of being here, and be humble enough to know that I'm human and some days just suck. And that doesn't mean that I'm not worthy. I have to do that because if I showed up on video, on podcasts for clients without going back into that command presence, I would waste my time and yours. Nothing would convert into clients or cash, and I wouldn't be serving at my best. And that's not fair to any of you. So I want you guys to start studying that. And even when you're scrolling, because you guys all scroll, we all do it. Instead of you going, oh God, I wish I was where she was at. Oh my God, she's doing so many things and I'm not, I'll never be successful. Instead of doing that, I would rather you, when you're scrolling, if someone is polarizing or magnetizing you, feel drawn to them, whether it's me, it's someone else, I want you to ask yourself why. What is it about this person? And write it down. And you're going to see a pattern of the people you're drawn to and magnetized by. You're going to see a pattern as to why. It is not because they're the smartest person on earth, the prettiest person, the fittest person, the more credentialed person. Shit, most of you guys don't even know my credentials. I don't make a point of spouting them because it's pretty fucking irrelevant. I mean, my results speak for themselves. I can sit here and tell you all of my credentials, my degrees, my trainings, whatever. But who cares? Who cares? So I want you to take note of that. And then I also want you to take note on people who you feel repelled by, like you tap through or you swipe through. And it's like, I don't want to listen to her today. I'm going to unfollow that person. That person doesn't make me feel good about myself. Any sort of repelling energy. Why? I want you to take a moment and note, instead of going down some comparison-itis train or shaming yourself, I want you to use this to learn something to get to that command presence. So write down, and let me tell you, you're being repelled if someone is triggering you, or you're not triggering you like in a bad way, because there's triggering in a good way too. Not making you feel good about yourself, feeling less than, feeling like you're not enough, you're not doing enough, that kind of thing. That's all in the repelling category. And I want you to write down why. Is it someone's tone of voice? Is it their energy? What is it? And you might not fully be able to put your finger on it, but you can at least write down how it makes you feel. That's the opposite of command presence. That's that like faking it, because it's rooted actually in insecurity and lack and fear, and they're overcompensating and faking it. And that's why it doesn't feel good to you. Someone who is grounded and has that grounded confidence, that is always going to be magnetizing and polarizing. So I'm excited for you guys to do these exercises, and all of this is within you. I hope I gave you, enough examples. And I'm going to say it again because, I'm all about repeating things that you really need to hear. I hire people all the time. Did you know most of my ProjectME team are people who were 2-month coaching clients of mine? And it's not because they were my clients, so I felt like obligated to hire them by any means. They had the talent. I knew they could do it. Right? But there's a lot of people who have the talent, the results, the skill set, and I know they can do it. There's a ton of them, and there's a ton of them that are cheaper, right? It's not cost either. It's because there's a no trust factor that was built, but it's also they all have that same command presence. It is that grounded, humble confidence, and those are the people I like to surround myself with. They're not too good for a task. It's not beneath them to pull some extra weight at times when we're in a bind. They don't say, oh yeah, that's not in my job description or my scope of work. You say that to me, you're done. I'm done with you immediately, right? They're people who rise to the occasion, who go the extra mile, who show up when they say they're going to. Those are the people who I hire. In fact, I don't ask them, do you have a degree in this? What results have you gotten for other people? I don't ask any of it. And if people are asking you that question, in terms of potential clients, I'm telling you right now, most of the time, like 95% of the time, they're asking you because you are not exhibiting command presence. They wouldn't be asking it. Yes, there's 5% of people who are just question askers. P.S. I'm one of them. It's really common for Enneagram 6s to be like that. We ask questions upon questions. It just makes us feel safe. Even though we've already made a decision, we want to work with you or we want to hire you. It's just something we do. But 95% of people who aren't those question asker people, you're not exhibiting command presence. Otherwise they wouldn't be asking. It doesn't matter. They don't know. They just know it's right. It's that je ne sais quoi factor, it's that it factor, and you all have it within you. So I want to give you something else. It's free, by the way, in order to help you with this and keep it at top of mind, because this has to be top of mind in order for you really to integrate and tap into your own inner command presence. if you haven't already, you need to be signed up for my newsletter. It's my secret posse. Okay, that's different than my ProjectME Posse group coaching membership. My secret posse is my newsletter, and every single week you guys will get, and it's solely focused on money mindset, doing exercises like this, getting out of your own way, getting out of self-doubt. So it's affirmations, tips, exercises, all sorts of stuff. It's exclusive content, and you get an email once a week from me. Plus, they're very funny. I include GIFs, and they're really pretty and easy to look at. It's not some long ass email that's boring. It's all broken up and almost like a children's book, right? Because we don't have time to read some long thing. So make sure you sign up for that, because it'll keep it at top of mind. Plus, this is the only way to access exercises like this, mantras, affirmations, reminders, something that you just need to get a pop of. And really, you can read these in like 45 seconds. That's what they're designed for. So go to projectmewithtiffany.com/secret posse. projectmewithtiffany.com/secret posse. The link is also in my bio on Instagram at projectmewithtiffany. And if you love this episode, go and write a 5-star written iTunes podcast review, and I will treat you to a coffee drink of your choice at Starbucks or wherever, or a smoothie if you prefer that, just for writing that 5-star review and showing your gratitude for the show. I want to show you gratitude back for being such a loyal listener and supporter of this podcast, because without all you guys, there wouldn't be a show. And the whole point of this show is to serve you guys. So go do that. If you don't know how to leave an iTunes review, guess what? You can Google it, and the step-by-steps are right there. It takes about 90 seconds. And then all you need to do is make sure you include your name or your Instagram handle inside your review. DM me, let me know that you've left a review. Then we'll double check to make sure it's there. And then I'll treat you to a coffee drink or smoothie of your choice. So I really appreciate you guys. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.